In this video I'm going to tell you what's good and what's not so good about this big white car, which is a second generation Hyundai Santa Fe named after a city in New Mexico, a car sold between 2006 and 2012. As I like to end on good news, I'll start with the bad. It rattles and squeaks quite a lot. The interior feels really cheap, and unless you're super careful with it, it's going to scratch very easily and it's going to age very quickly. The indicators are on the right hand side, and in the UK we're used to them being on the left hand side. So every time you go to indicate at a mini roundabout or something, you end up just waving at people with your wipers. Not very helpful. When you open the door, this light doesn't come on. Only the light for the rear passengers. If you want to put this light on, you have to turn it on yourself, which you will have to do because the light for the rear passengers is about as useful for you at the front as a cardboard boat. Pre-2009 models don't get reach and rake adjustment. Reach being in and out, rake being up and down. They only get rake. This one is 2010, so I get to put the steering wheel where I want. One of the problems with this car is it's not actually a car at all. It's an SUV, which means it has a lot of disadvantages over a regular car. The fact it's higher means that engineers find it a lot harder to make it handle well. So it doesn't handle well. In fact, it handles pretty atrociously. In fact, the owner's manual comes with no fewer than 3 warnings that this car is more likely to end up on its roof in an accident. And then it's not that comfortable either, because to try and keep this thing upright and stop it from rolling over, you've got to make the suspension a little bit stiff to stop it from tipping over, and as a result you feel all the bumps. Then there's the fact it costs more than a car. It costs more to fuel than a car. This only gets about 25 miles to the gallon. Not particularly fast. And then it costs more on everything else, such as tyres and brakes. Cleaning it costs more as well. Your kid's more likely to get sick in the back as it wallows around so much, and there's not really any more space in here than a normal large estate car. I mean, there's more space up here, but when do you use the space up there? It's the space down here that matters. And if you're looking for an SUV, let me know in the comments why. All I see is disadvantages. And it's not as if you use it for off-roading. I mean, who would do that? But that brings me on to the good things about this car. It's a proper SUV. It's not some fashionable, raised up, ordinary car made to look like an SUV. It has proper 4-wheel drive, and you've got a 4-wheel drive lock button down here to help you on the more slippery surfaces. In fact, it has a towing capacity of 2.2 tons, which is enough to move a small mountain. Maybe not a mountain, but a lot of dirt in a big trailer. It's very hard to demonstrate speed with a camera. So let me give you an idea of how flooring this car from a standstill feels. Now I know it's not fast. 0 to 60 of 10 seconds is pretty slow in my book, but it feels fast up to 30. It has an urgency about it. And as the whole bonnet lifts up and it doesn't really stay in a straight line very well, you kind of feel like a charging hippo, which is a little bit fun, if a little bit terrifying at the same time. Staying on topic of the engine, this is the 194 brake horsepower version of the 2.2 litre unit with 436 newton meters of torque, which means a lot. It's quite strong. Now, apart from charging away from a standstill, this car generally makes you want to drive in a very sedate and relaxed manner. This is why I would have to recommend the automatic gearbox. It's a good one. It's very smooth. You barely feel the gear changes. So it adds to that calm and relaxation. Having a manual gearbox in some cars can add to how fun they are. But this car is never going to be fun. So you may as well go all out on relaxation. Another good point, the boot is absolutely enormous and the seats fold completely flat. This premium edition gets bum warmers, which don't only warm your bum, but warm your back as well. Nice. If you're used to having arguments with what you consider is hot or cold, dual zone climate control. No more arguing. This car has an electrically operated driver's seat. Let's see how far forward it will go. And we get, oh, actually, whoa, okay, I've got to stop. I can't go any further forward than that. So I'm going to come back again. I don't think it matters how short you are. you're going to be able to get comfortable in this car. It also goes up and down, so you're pretty much well catered for, whatever size you are. One of my favourite things about this car is look up here, 2 places for sunglasses, so your passenger never needs to feel left out. Wonderful! Why doesn't everybody do this? This car has a foot operated parking brake, which is only really suitable in automatics. To put the parking brake on, simply push the pedal down until it's firm, and now the parking brake's on. And to take the parking brake off, push it in and let go, and now the parking brake is off. The leather on these seats has worn remarkably well given its age. You wouldn't think it's nearly 9.5 years old. In the UK, we've pretty much got one engine choice, and that's this 2.2 litre diesel, which is powerful enough and incredibly reliable. If you lived in a post-apocalyptic world, you'd want this to look after you. There was a 2.7 available before 2009, but that was discontinued because it was very thirsty, and as a result, they didn't sell many. This car represented excellent value for money when it was new, but I think now that it's getting older, it's even better value for money because it's reliable, and reliability matters more as a car ages and no longer has a warranty. I'll be honest, it's not my cup of tea, but if you want an SUV to tow big trailers or caravans, you don't mind spending a bit more on fuel, and you like the look of the car, what do you think? This may be the car for you. Like the video if you like it, and subscribe to get my future videos. I'll see you on the next one.